Well, Mama told me.
What do you think?
When I was
to the end of the show yet. Or the 1 o'clock hour. You know, there was a lot of controversy. Really not controversy. I was wrong. Heard a song, Simple Man, Leonard Skinner, but also Shinedown does a cover of them. And I said, oh, thanks for the Shinedown song, and I got crushed. So then Quentin, our intern, who's board hopping and producing the show today back in Kansas City, as we're up here in St. Joe at Chiefs Camp, I knew at some point today he was going to play it. And
I just wanted to get it out of the way.
I'll say this, I can get crushed again. That's the Shinedown version.
You sure?
No.
Be very sure before you say it.
I'm not sure.
Are you 100%?
I'm not 100% sure. I'm not. What do you think, Cody?
I believe that, yes, this is the Shinedown version.
And the verdict, Q?
It is indeed the Shinedown version.
All right. You
We're
see,
back
you're
on
safe.
track.
You're good.
We're back on track. What's going on, everybody? It's a Friday here in St. Joe. We're live in the Ag Power broadcast tent, where you can score big this year with your home team, John Deere dealer, Ag Power. Visit agpower.com for more. First day of padded practice. Biggest crowd also of Chiefs Camp. We were talking to some folks here. 8,500 parking spots sold, so you do the math on that. If those are just parking spots.
They're saying maybe 10,000 people.
Yeah, most people aren't coming by themselves, so probably over 10,000 today, even though at some point in the next hour or two, this thing's going to get up to about 100 degrees out here. Right now, 85 degrees, but hey.
Does it feel like it's 85? Feels a lot closer to 100 than 85 right now.
Mental toughness, man. It is cold out here. It's chilly.
Well, in fairness, they're out there playing football in full pads because it's the first day of full pads.
I can't imagine. We're under a tent at least.
We're in the shade.
So later on, we'll be able to turn the fans and face us. Right now, they're facing this tent where there's some VIPs watching practice. So we're good, man. We're good. I'm just happy pads are on because now it's a little bit more of the real thing. The closest you can get until you get to games versus the shell stuff and things like that. Just a couple notes to pass along from this morning. Drew Tranquil at one point did walk off practice the field with some trainers. We'll see if it's anything later on. Andy Reid is going to speak. Expect to hear from him in the 11 o'clock hour, and we're also expected to hear from Sky Moore. He's going to join us on set here for an exclusive interview. That's the plan, at least. We'll obviously update you if something changes. But Sky Moore, which we wanted to talk to a wide receiver, Cody. We talked, hey.
We did.
With Kadarius Toney out, even when Kadarius Toney was healthy, looking at the wide receiver room. And honestly, Sky Moore is one of the first guys you think of opportunity here with Kadarius Toney being out. We know last year was a disappointing rookie campaign, but maybe got some confidence in the postseason. The big return he had against Cincinnati, and we all know the touchdown, his only touchdown that he got, but it was in the Super Bowl.
Well, and I do think that he is an incredibly important – he's in a very important year. Normally, I don't write off a wide receiver until between year 2 and 3. So if you're going into year 3, it's like you got to produce or I'm not having this conversation with you anymore. And you just are the type of wide receiver you are. You have a cap. You have a max. But this is the year about finding out whether or not that cap or max is going to be a little bit taller than maybe we thought it's going to be. And the Drew Tranquil one's not unimportant because if you remember on Monday when we were here with Pete, I talked about how I thought Drew Tranquil was probably going to play a little bit more than maybe we thought, and he has a kind of long injury list. Like if you go back through and you look at his injury history, because that's not a player you would have thought about their injury-wise before, other than knowing he played for the Chargers, which means likely you've been injured plenty of times. But, like, for him, he's got a pretty decent length injury history. So if for some reason he's unable to get back out on the field or whatever, it might be something to keep an eye on. But like you said, until we know more, we can't really say other than he wasn't here. And really what we get up to is, like, padded practice is the one where I'm like, I'm standing up. You're looking before. I kind of want it to be the ones before I really earn standing up here and changing the whole camera, and right now it's not. You want me to be honest with you? It's not. It's Blaine Gabbert time for the offensive system. So once Packers on there, but there are always players we're trying to keep an eye out on. And Sky's going to join us later. He would have certainly been on, like, if I made a list of 7 players I desperately wanted to see in pads. But at this point, for me, it's probably Deneric Prince. Because Isaiah Pacheco is in the non-contact jersey still. And I think that they're smart by being protective of that and making sure that Pacheco takes no hits during training camp because he'll take enough hits later on in his life. He doesn't need to do it now. Later on in the season, whatever. But Deneric Prince can take those hits. And I think because of Clyde's injury history, they're not going to want to run him into the ground. He might get actual opportunities with the 1s and the 2s during this camp. And if we're going to do padded practice, I kind of want to see how he moves amongst that.
Yeah, look, Prince was someone before camp started we were going through. he was in the top 3 of players to watch. So yeah, now with the pads on, certainly he's still there. We were watching some wide receiver drills in front of us before we hopped on the air. Again, just some one-on-one stuff against quarterbacks. And not Marcus Kemp. Would have been Marcus Kemp. He's in D.C. now. Taking a look at Richie James, who's now wearing McCall Hardman's number 17 out there. Made a couple nice catches. We saw your guy, I'll call him your guy now, Justin Ross.
Why is he my guy?
Had a couple drop passes in front of us.
Why is he my guy?
He's your guy now. Someone's got to back him up. Someone's got to back him up, and I'll let you be that. Also, we mentioned Najee Johnson, who had been getting a lot of run with the ones the first couple days. Today, at least, he was the third corner a little bit, but also we saw initially Jalen Watson kind of get the first nod here with padded practice with Trent McDuffie, of course, in the slot, and then L'Jarius Sneed on the outside. So those are just some notes, some observations here in the early portion of practice. We'll continue to let you know what we're witnessing in front of us, anything notable, and certainly update you if we get any information on potential injuries and why maybe Drew Tranquil walked off the field earlier with a trainer. And, yeah, looking forward to having Sky Moore in the 11 o'clock hour and Andy Reid. You'll hear from him in the 11 o'clock hour as well. Yesterday, though, was a reminder of while we're up at camp, while you're watching practices, though, the injury concerns and why guys like Chris Jones want to get paid before they get on a practice field.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, we know he's trying to get a mega deal after Justin Herbert just got his. And yesterday there was a scare, certainly in Cincinnati. Everybody's probably seen the video of him getting carted off. Calf strain is what Cincinnati's calling it. I watched the interview or media availability that Zach Taylor did for Cincinnati, and either he's ultra confident that it's nothing or he's a great poker player, because he just was like acting like no big deal,
Like,
not
oh,
worried.
we're fine. Yeah, everything's
No worry.
okay.
And hopefully Joe Burrow is good to go. Never want to see anything like that, certainly at a quarterback and one of the best players in football. But they're probably going to shut him down at bare minimum for preseason, and we'll see as it gets closer. But you never like to see that. It's just a reminder of not only quarterback and injuries. Yesterday, Jalen Ramsey, the corner for Miami. Now we know he's going to have to potentially have surgery. He's going to miss some time.
Sounds like he's going to miss at least the beginning part of the season.
So that's the kind of stuff, the Chiefs had it with Kadarius Toney. So, I mean, this is now if camp's officially underway, unfortunately, you start seeing guys getting carted off. But Joe Burrow looks like they avoided worst case. People were thinking initially, the Twitter doctors, right, seeing a video, they're like, oh, it's his Achilles. It's his Achilles, which obviously would have been a season ender.
Well, yeah, and he had already gone through a major injury in his knee a couple of years ago, so you're not looking for that again. Quarterbacks don't have to play in camp. Tom Brady never played in training camp. He didn't play he played in training camp, but he didn't play in preseason games. But Joe Burrow never gets any training camp time. Guy missed one because he was coming back from that serious knee injury. Had an injury last year. This one, right?
Appendectomy last year.
Yeah, and that's a freak thing.
Well, it only happens to you once.
Once you only have the one appendix.
Once it's removed, it turns out you can't have that surgery again.
Exactly, which means he doesn't
We
have
got
to
Dr.
fear.
Gold in the house.
That's right. You're welcome, guys. Just want to clarify for everybody.
Someone's going to look up at some medical journal later to
someone
prove someone had two appendixes and had appendicitis twice.
There's somebody out there that probably had two,
I assume once you're digging in there, you find out whether someone's got one or two appendix.
I don't think they're dude. They just do a small.
Decide?
They just do a small little laser incision these days. It's not even that big of
Dude,
a
it's
deal.
like an 8-minute procedure. They probably stopwatch each other to find out who's got the fastest time these days. So no, I'm not worried about that. But he does have kind of that history of, even more with him, I do think you constantly live in this moment where you're like, because I thought for a second, I'm like, if that is a serious injury, then the AFC is ripe for the Chiefs. Because I already think it's a two-horse race. If Burrow, for some reason, wasn't involved in it, well, then we're having a very different conversation. Ravens would seem way more likely to win their division if he was going to miss significant time, all of these things. So they should feel very fortunate. I'm never rooting for injury, obviously. I don't want Joe Burrow to get hurt. It's way more fun when they play in those games together. I'm just talking about if that had happened, how much that would have changed the AFC landscape and why it feels like there's so many great quarterbacks in the AFC right now. It feels like that can't hold, right? It definitely feels like the injury bug is coming for somebody.
Well, at some point throughout anybody's career, you're going to probably miss some games. I think if you look at, though, the quarterbacks in the youth, I mean, Burrow's extremely young, still on a rookie deal. Herbert's still technically on a rookie deal. He just got a new contract. Mahomes is still under 30, right? Trevor Lawrence is under, 25? He's 25 years old now, maybe, if that. You start going through Tua. I mean, there's plenty of youth at the quarterback position in the league. The other part, though, if we're discussing what the injury would have meant for the AFC, well, potentially an impact on the AFC pecking order. I don't know if you buy into it as much as we talk about running backs, but it looks more and more like Dalvin Cook might end up signing with the New York Jets, which will continue to ramp up that organization and all kinds of hype and attention That's more problematic for a team like Buffalo than it is right now for a team like Kansas City or anything like that. It's just that AFC East is just going to get tougher and tougher for Buffalo. And why,
which is what you
for the
want when
number
you're a
one-
team going for the 1 seed, yeah.
The number 1 seed path for Kansas City, as tough as their schedule is, and even if the Broncos are improved, which I think they will be, their divisional path to getting the 1 seed sure looks easier on paper. You're welcome, Sean Barber. Sean Barber loves when we say stuff on paper. Look, Barber, it's July 28th. That's all we got, man. Paper.
I don't have any. Wait, does he not like that?
He doesn't like us saying on paper.
What does he prefer?
I don't know. I haven't heard an alternative. He doesn't like us saying on paper. I'll get a text in a little bit.
What about just the talent-wise? Can I just crush it for that perspective? I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to say here. They have more talent in their division.
Look, here, in about 40 days, I no longer have to say on paper. It'll be what we're actually witnessing and seeing with our own eyes.
You'll just have to say it's early. You know, it's early.
Yeah.
It's not on paper. It's early, which feels very training campy in just general
yeah,
sense.
man.
But it could have, like, you have those brief moments where you're like, well, this is getting ready to change the entire course of what I thought of the AFC, and now I'm going to have to reevaluate everything I knew about the AFC. The one thing I would say about that injury, upon doing more research and figuring out and, you know, like going to some of those actual medical doctors and trainers that talk about those things, that is an injury that can linger. You don't like the ones, Gold, that all of a sudden it's like Mahomes' ankle right in the Super Bowl. All of a sudden it's week 7. You try to run for that little first down marker, and all of a sudden it's like, ooh, that's tight again. Nope, that's, you know what, because that's seemingly how quickly those types of injuries can come back. It's the weirdest thing. Like, when you think about that, I'm not going to be watching Burrow every time he, like, comes up a little bit slow. The same way you were talking about, like, with the ankle stuff. You're just always trying to make sure, like, okay, please don't let this be the injury.
It depends on the grade of the strain, right? I mean, it could be it could be a 1 week thing. It could be a 3 week thing. It could also be much longer if it's bad enough. And I don't think they have the answer to that. They certainly weren't going to share that yesterday. So we'll keep an eye on health of Joe Burrow. Again, Jalen Ramsey, the corner for the Dolphins, going to miss some time. And hopefully we get through another day of camp here, though, with the Chiefs and really across the league. And nobody suffers an injury. Someone, as we always know, our text line never lets us down, 913-586-7610, did some research on the appendix.
The double appendix, okay. What do we have?
Appendix duplication, extremely rare congenital anomaly that is seen in 0.004 to 0.009% of appendectomy specimens.
Oh, okay. So
It's
possible that Joe Burrow has a second appendix in there.
Okay.
Dr. Text line up in
Like
here.
you said, though, they would have knocked out both of them right away on the same.
I would think that they would have found the other appendix while looking for that appendix.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I don't want to say for sure, but at least that's the case.
Quick
I'm going to stand up here now in the video because at least I'm getting some
Okay.
7-on-7.
Okay.
I want to see Mahomes, see who's catching passes, see who's dropping passes, you know? In this early going. That's just to the running back, by the way. That's just to Clyde. You got to realize Clyde still has a role on this team. That's one of those things that we talk about a lot, Gold, is that until he's not on this team, Clyde will have some sort of snap say as things go on, and depending on the health of Pacheco. Do you worry at all that he has no contact? I don't care because it's a month away still.
Yeah, no.
But I don't think he can make contact for another month. He's on the practice field. He's running. They just don't want him to get hit.
There's no reason to risk it. I mean, heck, he doesn't need to play in the preseason. I don't need to see him. If you're worried about him getting, I don't need to see him in a have Deneric Prince, the undrafted guy, get a ton of carries during camp and preseason games. Clyde can get some work during preseason games. I don't need to see Pacheco take extra hits during the preseason. So I like the approach that they're taking. By the way, we do have a little update on an injury to keep an eye on our guy, friend of the show, Jody Fortson, unfortunately. This actually it happened in front of the media area, so this is actually from Pete Sweeney. Jody Fortson was down in serious pain, right arm issue, and Cole Christensen rolled on top of him during a play on 11-11. He jogged off grasping at his right arm. So, look, we know he's a friend of the show. You want to talk about someone that just can't stay healthy ever during camp. Unfortunately, it's Jody Fortson, man. Is there ever a camp where he's not hurt?
No.
Let's hope this is something minor and he's back. But the fact that it clearly was some serious pain, according to Pete Sweeney, it wasn't just like shaking it off. And so we'll get an update from Andy Reid after practice today on Jody Fortson.
And the Chiefs love to stash him. I mean, we know that. They like, when he gets hurt, they find a way to put him on the roster, Gold, and keep him around. And he always seems to get activated later on in the season. But, God, you hope Jody's okay. And if anything, this is Nick's fault, Leave this show, Jody gets hurt.
Well, he was getting hurt when Nick was here, okay? So I think we're good.
You don't think you can put this on Nick? Man,
Do we need to remind you what you said literally yesterday?
I think I said that they've been pretty fortunate
what did
on
you
the
say?
injury front the last few years. That's vaguely what I said. That doesn't apply to Jody Fortson. Like you said, he's been hurt all those years.
You're right.
I was talking about everyone else.
Okay. Just saying.
Apparently not Jody Fortson.
Hopefully it's something minor. If not, we can maybe have a further discussion if we find out that it's something more serious about what that actually means for the roster makeup, because we know they're going to keep 4 tight ends normally. And if there's a scenario where it's longer, then does that open the door?
For the extra wide receiver we think they might need, depending on how much time Kadarius Toney misses.
But it's too early to have that full-blown discussion. We don't know. It was just an injury at practice so far today for Jody Fortson. Watching practice, Richie James, of course, out here. Mentioned him a little bit earlier on, running with the first-team offense, of course. And just the other day, he was asked a question that I think we've brought up, his familiarity with this system and terminology, because Mike Kafka is in New York, and Richie James came over from the New York Giants, and we know Kafka was once in Kansas City. And Richie James said there's only like 10% of the terminology, so maybe that gets overblown. Only like 10% of the terminology is
that
actually.
That feels like a small number.
Yeah, and it also, to me, reminds me once again how different and adaptable Andy Reid is, though, with his terminology. Why he's so protective in shows like Quarterback, where he's like, we're not showing any of the actual.
We'll show you the stuff we're not doing anymore.
Yeah.
Any play you probably see them describe in Quarterback as a play, Andy Reid's offense is not running anymore.
Right.
He's like, yeah, you can show those. I erase those from the book. I got other things going on. That'll come back like 2 years from now.
And Richie James also said that, he's kind of gunning and wants, that number 1 punt return job for this football team. Tony's out of the mix. We've said, hey, he shouldn't really return kicks anyway at this point. Richie James seems like the favorite right now to be the number 1 punt returner for this team. There's some other guys battling with that, we know, but it looks like Richie James has maybe the inside track very early on for that.
Again, it's not against Sky Moore. It's just they tried to take a guy who had never done that before and then tried to make him something he wasn't yet. And to me, that's asking for trouble, and it proved to be trouble amongst a season that was probably already kind of disappointing for Sky Moore to go with it. And look, we'll have him on the show later, so we can ask him if he's more comfortable with it. But the Richie James stuff, I think if you're saying Richie James is going to turn into something more than he is, Gold, you have to be thinking that is a Mahomes elevation, and that's it. Because he's in what? He's 27 years old, man. It's not like he just got in the league. This is his 3rd team. He's been in the league for like 4 years, and he didn't play this whole time. He capped out last year for a Giants offense that isn't particularly good, but also had no wide receivers to throw to. Was he just the guy they threw to because he was one of the few semi-capable wide receivers on an offense absolutely devoid of them? Richie James might be, to me, the biggest unknown. Because, like, Sky Moore and all this, like, I'm just waiting to see the develop. I kind of have an idea of his skill set, how he works, how he fits. With Richie James, I feel like any of the optimism I have with it, I have to put on Mahomes, which is fine. You can definitely do that. But about him as a player, it's like nothing about his career screams, I'm going to walk in, kick down the door, and have 800 yards this year. Nothing about his progression suggests that he's getting ready to just burst out of the seams, other than he's going to be in an offense that is going to get him way more open with a quarterback who can get him the damn ball.
Basically, his ability has been underutilized, I think, so far in his career. I mean, that's what I'm banking on. So, I mean, you can say that's more Mahomes and Reid, and certainly it's a big part of it. But I also think, like, hey, maybe was his skill set not being utilized correctly? Nobody's saying Richie James is the number 1 wide receiver.
And nobody's looking for that. Neither of us are looking for
that. If he's this team's 3 and it's 700 yards, that's a really good spot for Richie James to be in. Obviously, I'm very bullish on what he can be for this team. But I would like to see him in the punt return game, too. I know that doesn't count for the yardage when receiving, but I think he can help them in the punt return game, because we've talked about kick returns and with the rule change and everything. Kick return, just give me my touchback, okay? Get the ball to Patrick Mahomes. On punt returns, it's a different story. I want to see what you can do on punt returns. Kick returns, just give me the ball at the 25, please, and I'll let Patrick Mahomes go to work. But on those punt returns, I'll see someone like Richie James hopefully impacting them. I stood up when you were talking a minute or so ago, and I was smirking a little bit. We had our first little skirmish.
Little dust up?
Pads are on. It's hot out. Maybe people are a little upset. Something very, very small.
Huge crowd, by the way.
DiCaprio, Boodle, and Travis Kelce. Got a little skirmish. Boodle was continuing after the play, and Kelce didn't like that a little much. Just a little skirmish. Our first of many, I'm sure.
You know what was the best one last year? Ended up being foretelling. We can say it's not a big deal.
Yes.
The absolute foretelling of the future last year in training camp dust-ups was Patrick Mahomes telling then Chiefs corner, right? Isn't that who it was? Oh, what's his? Now I can't even think of his name. Oh, yeah, Rashad Fenton. Telling then Chiefs corner Rashad Fenton, hey, you can't keep holding on every play. we can't actually practice this thing if you just
You're
it.
not getting any better, basically,
Yeah,
is what he said.
yeah, he's like, you're not getting any better. We're not getting any better if you keep committing these penalties while we're in the middle of this thing. And then later, Rashad Fitton's out the door, and they go with all the young corners instead. I'm not saying this would happen here. I'm just letting you know.
No.
Occasionally, it can be foretelling. Occasionally, one of these little dust-ups actually means something. I don't think that's today, but still fun. Just watching Mahomes do work. That's it, man. Oh, by the way, Andy should just cut practice early today. He should help him out.
Well, it's the first day of padded practice.
So hot. Oh, you know what? He's never going to do it.
First day of pads, man. First day
He's
of
gonna do
pads.
the last minute.
And there's 10,000 fans here today. They're not cutting it short.
That's why I showed everybody on
Also,
the
why do
video
you want
stream.
them to cut it short? We're here till 2 o'clock anyway.
I'm
man.
here either way.
If
You're
they
right.
If they want to practice till 1, I don't care. You know what I mean?
Just trying to help them,
Okay.
Nobody wants to go back to
Today,
Tuesdays.
I will tell you, Sky Moore probably will want that snow cone. It's with the heat. We'll have Sky Moore joining us on set, we think.
He absolutely
in the
will want
11
that snow
o'clock
cone.
hour.
Oh, by the way, even though it is Friday, it's Friday. I know we're at camp, and it seems like, how is this even possible? Can we even accomplish this? I want to let you know that I pre-mixed cocktails for us today.
Ooh.
So we can still have something for Club 610.
Please tell me it's something very refreshing.
It is
I
called
don't need a
Gold
heavy-
Rush.
Oh, I like it already.
So already very fitting for this show and
Okay.
your name.
What is in it? What from Rieger do we got?
It is a honey simple syrup. Thought that might be kind of like light and refreshing.
Okay.
It is lemon juice, and it is whiskey. That's pretty much the three.
Okay.
So
Gold Rush. 1 o'clock hour, 1:30 or so today.
we're
Well,
gonna
the
have to
half
drink them
hour.
out of plastic
It'll be
cups.
more
I
of-
don't
that's
have.
fine.
I don't have.
It'll
real
be more of
glassware.
a 610 happy hour than a club today. It's more of a happy hour.
Yeah, I almost brought the sign. I just couldn't figure out how I would attach it. So like our
that-
neon sign has a battery pack, so I could bring it on the road. You wouldn't be able to see it.
It's gonna. It would have shattered with the heat. I feel like.
Yeah, I just didn't feel like it was the sign didn't make it, but the drinks did. That's all I'm telling you.
Our training camp coverage brought to you by St. Joseph Convention and Visitors Bureau. Be a part of history by attending Chiefs Training Camp. Learn more at stjomo.com. We'll continue broadcasting live here from St. Joe, watching Chiefs' first padded practice of camp. And with the contract potentially looming for Chris Jones, what does it actually mean for L'Jarius Sneed's future in Kansas City? We'll dive into that next year on Cody and Gold.
Cody and Gold on 610 Sports Radio, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete.
Mics are off.
Contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
The health of your home starts at the foundation. Here's James and Josiah of American Topsoil.
A wet basement can be a nightmare for homeowners. Prevent it by adding topsoil around your foundation.
If poor drainage is ignored or left unchecked, this can allow water to flow inward toward your foundation, potentially causing dangerous cracks and leaks.
Guys, the message is adding topsoil now can prevent big foundation problems.
That's right. So protect your home and give yourself peace of mind with this easy solution.
You can be confident knowing you'll only pay for the amount of soil you actually need. Call us at American Topsoil, 913-888-SOIL.
American Topsoil, 30 years and 4 generations of great topsoil for landscaping, gardening, and foundation preservation. With locations in Olathe and KC Mo. Nutrient-rich organic topsoil delivered with their power wheelbarrow service right where you need it. Call 913-888-SOIL or online at americantopsoil.com. Great topsoil, great service. American Topsoil.
Tailgates in turkey? Yes, please. This season, score a touchdown with U.S. soy-fed turkey. Versatile, tasty, and truly different, turkey can be used for succulent sliders, killer kebabs, championship chili, or even brilliant burnt ends. You can get all the recipes and register for a chance to win the ultimate prize pack worth nearly $2,000, including a portable Traeger grill, Yeti cooler, Chiefs gear, and much more at tailgatewithturkey.com. You'll be the pride of the parking lot. Come on, KC, turn up your tailgate at tailgatewithturkey.com.
What does it mean to be the official information technology provider for the Chiefs? Everything. Technology Group Solutions makes sure everything runs flawlessly for the millions of fans that attend games and the hundreds of millions of fans that comprise Chiefs Kingdom around the world. Technology Group Solutions can deploy that same dedication, problem solving, and incredible service to ensure your business runs smoothly. All day, every day, just like your Chiefs. Technology Group Solutions, powering Chiefs Kingdom and ready to do the same for you.
Hey, this is Rex with KC Real Estate Buyers, and I buy houses for cash. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, grab a pencil. I'm going to give you a very important phone number in 40 seconds. I'm a private real estate investor. I live right here in KC, and I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at KC Real Estate Buyers, we are improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000. Or go to rexbuyskc.com. That's rexbuyskc.com. And I look forward to working with you.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights, open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing. But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or to download the app today.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights, open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-543-3399. That's 800-543-3399. 800-543-3399.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect. Support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase. Make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare information guide absolutely free. Call 800-969-1199. That's 800-969-1199. 800-969-1199.
Being a baseball play-by-play broadcaster demands a blend of learned mechanics, intense preparation, and a calm sense of entertainment. How hard is it to do this job? Let's talk to the ones who do it. This is Matt Spiegel. My new podcast, The PBP, Voices of Baseball, will bring those conversations to you as the best working and former broadcasters tell you why and how they do it. New episodes come every Thursday all summer long. Follow The PBP, Voices of Baseball, on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcasts.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Chiefs coverage on 610 Sports Radio is brought to you by Comfort Systems Heating and Cooling in Belton.
Avoid being known as the hot house this summer with no payments, no interest for 6 months and up to $1,375 in rebates on a new Linux system. Comfort Systems, the hot house remedy. MyComfortSystems.com.
Comfort people is what we do. Comfort System is right for you.
Our Chiefs training camp coverage on 610 Sports Radio, brought to you by Twin Peaks Eats, Drinks, Scenic Views. Coming up in about 8 minutes or so, we'll get to some of the comments from the Broncos head coach Sean Payton.
I got it figured out.
Oh, his comment, what he's
I got
trying
him
to
figured
do?
out.
Okay.
I know what he's trying to do.
Okay. If you didn't catch the comments from Sean Payton, we'll certainly fill you in coming up in just a couple of minutes. Reminder, in the 11 o'clock hour today, you'll hear from Andy Reid. Expected to also have Sky Moore join us right here at our table, talking exclusively with us here on 610 Sports Radio. We still know Chris Jones, no surprise. We've talked so much about what his deal could look like. But what happens if this goes on and on and on and gets closer to the season for L'Jarius Sneed? What does it mean for him? Well, I think it's already trending in this direction. No deal for Jones is one thing. Even if it's late in August and a deal happens for Jones, I think they're going to run out of time for a deal with Sneed.
Yep.
I thought at some point if Chris Jones' deal were to get done by now, then all right, well, they got a month to negotiate. There's not any noise whatsoever, and we know this organization under Brett Veach has a track record anyway not to pay corners. Now, they've invested capital, draft capital, that is, with Trent McDuffie in the cornerback position, but actual financial decisions for long-term deals have been, hey, we're going to let you walk. We've got other guys, and look, I'll be honest, watching camp so far, looks like Najee Johnson maybe is another one of the young guys that eventually can start getting more playing time.
Here, I think it is bad news for Sneed. Honestly, he's kind of getting the short end of the stick, even though he didn't do anything but play really good football for Kansas City. But you and I both know when you're sitting over here and you're prioritizing the deal you have to get done, it's Chris Jones's. And because L'Jarius Sneed is still on a rookie deal, renegotiating his contract could add money to this year, not get rid of it. Like in the Chris Jones case, you actually save money this year by giving him a new deal. It's signing bonus. It can be spread out. You help yourself out by giving Chris Jones money. When you get the deal done with Sneed, or if you try to get the deal done with Sneed, it could maybe save you a little, like a tiny little bit of your cap, but that's it. I think he's kind of getting screwed, I'll be honest. I think L'Jarius Sneed deserves a real conversation about a contract extension, and it can't happen. They're not screwing him on purpose, Gold. It's not that. But he's the one getting the short end of the stick because he should get to be having these conversations, but he can't really because they got to deal with Chris Jones first. They got to figure out if they're going to pay Chris Jones first because if Chris Jones doesn't sign, there's a better chance they bring Sneed back and pay on a different player and all of this stuff. There's more likelihood that they would have the funds around to pay the guy.
But look, I mean, this group has not paid corners, so I don't think any of us should be surprised that they likely wouldn't get a deal done before the season anyway with one of these young corners. I've told you what I think the value is for L'Jarius Sneed for this football team. I'd be very interested in having Sneed back next year because I think with Steve Spagnuolo as your defensive coordinator, he fits this defense perfectly, his versatility. He's not just a number one, number two corner for you. He's someone that's impactful in your blitz scheme, and nobody in the secondary is able to disguise their blitz better than Sneed. I'm not saying other guys can't improve, but that's where his value also is. So I would be very interested in bringing him back on a deal. But yes, I don't think you're going to see anything happen before the season for Sneed. But the number one priority this entire offseason has been getting a deal done with Chris Jones. And here we sit on July 28th, and they still don't have that number one priority done.
Well, it's not going to get done in August. We know that. But I
mean
just
in July.
In July, yeah. But it's when you look through it, it's like it's really him it hurts the most. Because you and I both thought it was going to be tight. Nate Taylor told us that too. If you go back to like 2 weeks ago, he's like, or like maybe a month ago, we asked Nate about this, and he was like, you know, when you think about the Jones deal, I mean, you're only leaving yourself a couple of weeks maybe to work something out with L'Jarius Sneed. Yeah. I mean, there's just not enough runway, and now that runway has shrunk. Because when Nate and I, and you and I were all talking about that, we all thought that Chris Jones' deal would be done now, right now, or close to the beginning of training camp. Now we're in their full padded practice. He's still not here. And it's fine. We've talked about all the reasons. I understand why he's holding out. I got no problem.
Again, the next date that I'm checking in on is around August 10th. So I'm not expecting to show up on Monday and all of a sudden the part on the Jones front that will be intriguing to keep an eye on is as we get closer to the middle of August, do you start seeing some leaks coming out that teams are inquiring about Jones or the Chiefs are shopping? I don't think we're there yet.
No, I don't.
But that will be the question at some point in the middle of the month if the deal's not done. Does that start leaking out? Are they willing to have conversations to put some pressure on Chris Jones to get something done as well?
To be like, hey, we've let other – because, I mean, at least that it's not an empty threat, you know? Like, if you go to Chris Jones' guy and you'd be like, hey, look, if that's the number, we're going to send Chris Jones out of town. Or this is his last year in Kansas City, like Orlando Brown Jr., and he's going to be here with us, and that's cool. You know, we don't want Chris to go anywhere, but that's just not our number. So we can't get there. If there's absolutely no flexibility in this, we're not going to get there, and you're going to end up one of two ways, the Orlando Brown way or the Tyreek Hill way, which is either traded out of town, where maybe we give you a little bit of say because of what you mean to Kansas City and what you mean to this city, or you get to go be a free agent and choose your spot next year like Orlando Brown did, and I guess we'll take our compensatory third-round pick and hope that negates the difference because he's going to sign for an absolute mountain of cash. From the Snead perspective, the most interesting part to me about Snead not getting a long-term deal here is, so they've passed on other corners, right? They've never paid a corner. They just Veach walked on Ward, hasn't given any extensions. I feel like the second they traded up to pick 21 to take Trent McDuffie, that made it less likely that Jerry Snead was getting an extension too. Because when you trade up to a guy at 21 and you gush, you say these things like, I can't believe he was there at 21. We're shocked. He's our guy. He looks as good as he does on the field. Well, then you're already planning on paying him. And if you're already planning on paying one corner, it's like, do I want to be on the foot? I want to have a bill for two? Not really.
I'm with you, but this is year 2 of McDuffie. Because of the
and
option,
you get the fifth-year option.
They've got some. We're not. It's not next offseason or the one after. I mean, we're still 2+ years away. I get what you're saying. I just
feel like if they know there's a corner they're going to pay, they might just end Watson and Williams and all the things that have worked.
I think it's more their faith and their development at the cornerback position, and also last year what happened, right? Through development, you had late-round guys and Jalen Watson,
and Joshua Williams,
who
played well.
So that to me is why I think they're in a spot to potentially not have to get a deal done. But keep an eye on it. But there's no reason to even really worry about that until the Chris Jones deal, if the Chris Jones deal actually gets done. We'll get to Q's coming up in about 6 or 7 minutes. Don't forget 11 o'clock hour today. Once practice wraps up, first full padded practice up here in St. Joe. We're the only show in Kansas City broadcasting live throughout training camp up here. And we'll have Andy Reid. You'll also hear from Sky Moore. He's supposed to sit down with us after practice today. But there was some talking going on out in Denver yesterday. My goodness. Sean Payton not holding back. We know the first-year head coach now for the Broncos, in his first year there at least. And he was talking about his team this year and the coaching job a year ago by Nathaniel Hackett, who we all know now is the OC with Aaron Rodgers again, out in New York with the Jets. And the Jets and Broncos will play each other in Week 5. But Sean Payton called Nathaniel Hackett, the work they did in his staff last year, quote, one of the worst coaching jobs in the history of the NFL.
Way to pull a punch.
Let's start there. He's not wrong. Everybody's all upset. Like, as a coach, you shouldn't be saying these things. I appreciate the honesty and the candor. He is completely correct. It was. We knew on that Monday Night Football game when the Broncos went to Seattle and lost. Now, little did we know Geno Smith was going to have a great year, but still, that right then you realized he was in it over his head, did not know what the hell he was doing. Great QB coach, great coordinator. Sure he'll do great with Aaron Rodgers again in New York. But Sean Payton's 100% correct. He then also said there were, quote, 20 dirty hands around quarterback Russell Wilson's career-worst season that, of course, had Russell with 16 touchdown passes and a league-high 55 sacks. He summed it up with, quote, everything I heard about last season, we're doing the opposite. It doesn't happen often where an NFL team or organization gets embarrassed, and that happened here. Part of it was their own fault, relative to spending so much bleep time trying to win the offseason, the PR, the pomp and circumstance, marching people around and all this stuff. We're not doing any of that. The Jets did that this year. You watch Hard Knocks.
So he's taking after Hackett again in another organization.
Yeah, that part was like
first, they didn't want Hard Knocks, man, so that's a really unfair one to throw at them. I figured it out. So I was reading all this, and I'm like, damn, Sean Payton really hates Nathaniel Hackett. That guy didn't do anything to him, and he's just going to bury his ass. I mean, just throw him under a pile of rubble. And then I was like, why? Why, man? And I solved it. It's because he knows they stink. Gold, he knows that the Broncos are going to stink. They're going to be terrible. And he knows they're going to be terrible. And because as a result of that, he is trying to soften the expectation for this team.
Are there high
Soften
expectations
the
this year?
blow for this team. You say they could win like 7 or 8 games. He's
hold on.
trying to sink it below that.
Hold
He
on.
thinks they're bad. He thinks they're really bad. And what he wants out of this is some protection. He wants to, in Week 10, when this team is 3-7 or 2-8, to be able to say, whoa, 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 it was that other jerk. I told you from the beginning it was that other jerk, and leave me the hell out of whatever happens with this team this year. I think he knows they suck, and he wants Hackett to take the heat.
That's a hell of a theory. That's a hell of a theory. First of all, I think the Broncos have a chance to win 9 or 10 games this year. So if you think last year was the crazy expectation that everybody was talking about them winning the division. Everybody said they were a quarterback away from contending for a Super Bowl.
We didn't know Russell Wilson was going to be that
Last year was where everything was out of whack. No, I think what it is you're right. It is calculated. I'm with you, kind of along the same lines. Not that he thinks his team's going to suck. He's trying to ease things off of his quarterback.
Oh, you think he's trying to prop up his guy?
He's trying to prop up and give Russ some confidence. He's trying to let Russ cook a little bit. That's what it is.
Oh, Russ doesn't seem short on confidence.
He wants him to cook, but he wants to, he doesn't want it to boil over. He wants to simmer it down a little bit. That's what it is.
A slow
cook. A long, slow cook. And
like a stew or something.
Yeah, he doesn't want Russ to feel the pressure. He wants to blame other people, let Russ know it wasn't his fault. Whether it's BS or not, that's, to me, the mindset that he's going with these comments. The only part I have an issue with Sean Payton was when he unnecessarily shot at the Jets. The Hackett stuff, 100% correct.
Look, he's not wrong about – that's the one thing. The stuff he says about Hackett is not incorrect. Hackett stunk. He did a terrible coaching job. But in that same – and I get it. He's talking about his team. But he buries the Jets for no reason. He didn't, go back 2 years and bury Urban Meyer. What the hell, man? He's just taking down the one guy. He knows they suck.
Now,
I'm telling you, he knows that they're terrible. And he's like, I am not taking the blame for this. You are not putting this on me. And there is no way. I can just see him cursing in his back room, just being like, I can't believe I took this stupid job. And now, because I wanted all the other jobs, I'm just going to remind you, Sean Payton did not want the Broncos first. That was not his top choice. He started asking around the league. He's like, I'm available. Boys, I'm free. Who wants a shot of old Shawnee boy? And then he found out nobody did. Nobody wanted him for the job except for the damn Broncos. Broncos gave him the job. He showed up, and he's like, what is happening here? What the hell did you do? And that's probably true. There's probably a mess of it. But I think he knows it's still a mess, and he can't fix it in a year. They're gonna finish last in the division, below the Raiders.
The Raiders will finish.
They're gonna finish like 6 wins.
Raiders will be dead last in this division, man.
Raiders are really bad too.
You want to make you want to bet? You want to show bet?
I bet those odds aren't crazy. I bet they're not crazy.
They're the two teams that
what do you think the over-unders are going to be on the totals on both those teams?
I mean, I can look that up for you if you want. We're in Missouri, remember, so I can't bet on that. Thank you, state of Missouri legislators, in particular Denny Hoskins, Senator Denny Hoskins. But I can look it up. I just
the
can't.
text line can tell us. I don't have good enough internet to look anything up.
Let's see here. I can give me a little bit on that. I'll pull it up. I'll let you know when I have it because the internet, like you said, is
you tell me what the over-unders are, and I think we might be able to do some business here.
Okay. I think the Raiders will finish last in this division.
I'm sure that they are the odds-on favorite to do so.
But I can't get the pull up, so we'll have to table this for later.
There's too many people here,
10,000.
You get 10,000 people out to training camp, and all of a sudden the internet doesn't want to work
That's
anymore.
exactly right, man.
Which seems reasonable.
I was going to mention, though, lastly, before we get to Q's, so Robert Saleh, the head coach of the Jets, was asked about these comments because you got Sean Payton calling him out.
Yeah.
He said, quote, I'm not going to acknowledge Sean. He's been in the league for a while. He can say whatever the hell he wants. As far as what we have going on here, I kind of live by the saying, if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping. So hate away.
That's the new show motto. If you ain't got no haters, it ain't popping.
Exactly
Cody and Gold, 610 Sports Radio.
We'll get that on a T-shirt.
New show motto
we'll get
for
that,
us.
We'll get on a T-shirt. Look, Robert Saleh and the Jets going to play in Week 5. So that adds some more intrigue for a game that maybe didn't have as much. Can't wait now. Week 5, Jets Broncos. These are the kind of comments that happen in the NBA all the time.
Oh, yeah.
But it's rare in the NFL.
Because it's like a tighter club, I think, is what it is with head coaches. And part of it is because we're numb to it because Andy never says a negative thing about anyone ever. Andy has only had nice things to say about every coach, every quarterback, every player. They could be the stinkiest quarterback in the entire league, and he'd be like, he really does some great stuff. Super impressed with some of the things he's able to do. And you're like, he can't do anything. He has 1 touchdown and 47 interceptions, and Andy say something nice.
The closest he ever got to it was this past offseason when someone was like, so what do you think of Jordan Love? And he truly didn't remember Jordan Love. Not because he
didn't even mean to be dismissive.
No, but that was the closest you'll get. Who now? Jordan, who? Oh, yeah.
Jordan Love.
Nice,
He's like, he's the starting quarterback for the Packers. You're like, oh.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Very impressed. You
know?
Blown away almost. He just forgot who it was, which was funny.
We are broadcasting here in St. Joe. Chiefs Training Camp brought to you by Max Motors. Worth the drive from anywhere. MaxMotors.com. Max Ford in Harrisonville. We both rode up together today in the beautiful Ford F-150.
We'll do. How about we do a little?
It doesn't drive like a truck at all. Like it's smooth.
It drives great.
Smooth drive on the
It's
highway.
spacious.
We had 2 car seats. We had our radio equipment.
Our
also,
backpacks.
Our backpack.
A suitcase.
And I had my suitcase because after the show, Cody's dropped me off at the airport.
Didn't even have to use the bed. That's all on the back seat.
Yeah, all in the back.
Comfortably.
Plenty of room. Plenty of leg room. You know, I'm a little taller guy, so sometimes the leg room's an issue. No issue whatsoever. We love driving the Ford F-150 up to Chiefs Camp. And we certainly appreciate our friends down at Max Motors. Quentin, it's Q's.
All right, gentlemen. Today, we're going to head to Boston, where a book was checked out of the local library 119 years ago. It found its way back to the library earlier this week. The book is The Basics of Electricity, was checked out in 1904. The book was originally published in 1881, a year after Thomas Edison invented his incandescent lamp.
That book was fresh off the shelves.
Yeah. So at a 5-cent per day late fee, that rate, someone would have to pay the fine of $2,100, but the library capped it out at $2.
Nope.
Yeah,
First,
those people are long gone. Those people
also,
are long gone.
as a quick heads up, a lot of your local libraries will do like forgiveness of your fines on certain days of the year. Bring in all your stuff. You bring in a canned good. Sometimes they'll forgive your fines. Also, that also speaks to how little of a fine you actually get. They had that thing checked out for 120 years, and they only owe $2,100.
Well, you're not trying to deter people from going to the public library. They're not trying to. They're not trying to punish.
What were you going to ask me?
A deter. Oh, I was going to ask you. Overall, like the library, the fines that exist there. What happens if this was gone for this many years? No, it's not like they're not sending you to a collection agency. Like what's the issue? Like,
so
what's
libraries can send you to collections agencies, but you have to have a bonkers amount of stuff checked out in order for this to actually do it. So they have done that before, but no, I'm sure then nothing's going to happen from it. For the most part, Gold, you can carry small little fines on your. I've got $1.37 or something on mine today. It doesn't matter. I'm never going to pay it.
Wait.
I'm never getting that dollar.
You're a late checkout guy?
Sometimes I don't get the book back to the library in time. Yeah.
I'm late checkout guy at a hotel, but I'm talking about late returning, I should say.
Sometimes I don't get it back into the library in time. Yeah, I get some overdue fines. So
What's the latest that you've had a book checked out for?
Maybe a month.
I couldn't tell you the last time I went to a library and checked out a book. I honestly have no clue.
You check out other stuff. It's not just books.
What else am I checking out?
Music.
Movies.
I have Apple Music. I have Netflix. I have an Amazon Fire Stick.
You could go do crafts. They have 3D printers and stuff
Do
at some
I
libraries.
look like I'm going to go do
I'm just telling
crafts?
you that there are options.
I think if I had kids, I would go to the library. If I had kids, you'd take the kids to the library, but I don't think I might. And I'm not I don't. You read books every once in a while.
Yeah, my wife reads way more than me.
On a random Tuesday night at 9 o'clock or whatever, I'm not going to sit and read a book for an hour and a half before I go to bed. That's just not me. Plenty of people do it. That's great. I wish I did, actually. That's just not me. Instead, I'm sweating a random MLB game on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, that seems way more degenerative than
I
just
enjoy
me
it, though. I
reading a
enjoy
book.
it more, though.
Yes, than reading a book. Maybe just haven't found a good book.
Yeah.
You got another one for us, Q?
Well, I was going to say that the librarian that they interviewed for this story said that they have the most that they've seen a book checked out for was a 15-year book that was late. And then this person walks in. The funniest part about this story is that it was returned anonymously.
So someone just stuck it in the book
Well,
drop?
they were afraid, man.
Afraid of what? They didn't check it
didn't
out.
wanna
The
pay-
person who checked it out is dead.
They didn't want to pay the $2,100.
There's no way it's under their card.
Someone says their dad owes Hollywood Video $130 from 2002.
No, they're never getting that either.
Hollywood
I'm
Video's
pretty
not even
sure.
around. Aren't they
Yeah,
out of
they're
business?
bankrupt.
Yeah, you're good.
If you owe Blockbuster or Hollywood Video money, they're never getting that money from you ever, not in a million years. So don't worry about it. That library was never going to get that money.
I'm pretty sure my father owes Blockbuster a ton of money just because of the amount of times we would go, check stuff out, and then not go back for a significant amount of time.
Yeah, dude, those late fines added up at old Blockbuster.
Yeah, they didn't mess around.
I'm pretty sure that's how they stayed in business.
Rewind.
Yeah. Be kind, man. Rewind.
Once I switched to DVDs, obviously this wasn't a problem, but you had to.
Yeah, but then you get the scratch discs.
I'll never forgive. One time we checked out, so like we couldn't afford an N64 in the early gone, right? And we got to check one out from Blockbuster for the weekend once. So we got like 3 days with an N64. So of course, we're gonna play the hell out of that thing, right? Like, we're gonna play it so much. One of my brothers like spilled some like pink. It must have been like strawberry pop or something near it. And I had to take that thing apart to clean it before we took it back to Blockbuster because I thought they'd never let us play with it again. That we would never. My parents would never let us check out something again once pink pop got inside of an N64. Make you really feel like a kid again.
Those are cues as we continue to broadcast live here in St. Joe. We're inside the Ag Power broadcast tent. Score big this year with your home team John Deere dealer, Ag Power. Visit agpower.com for more. Coming up next, practice just wrapped up. They're doing some stretching. Expect to hear from Andy Reid and also Sky Moore stopping by our tent here. Coming up next here on Cody and Gold.
You're listening to Cody and Gold.
He's so good, and everyone knows it.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
He's got the catch! He's got the touchdown!
Be a part of history by attending Chiefs training camp in St. Joseph, Missouri this summer and see the reigning champs up close.
For the second time in 4 seasons, the trophy has a red and gold reflection.
Make the trip to St. Joe something for you and your family to remember. Whether it's touring one of the many museums, staying in a historic home turned bed and breakfast, experiencing quality dining or brewery options, hitting the River Bluff bike trails, or supporting a vibrant art scene, St. Joseph has something for everyone. Go to stjomo.com to view or download a free visitor guide and plan your trip where the Pony Express started and Jesse James ended. Again, that's stjomo.com for all the details to make your trip to Chiefs training camp in St. Joseph, Missouri, one you'll never forget. Produced in cooperation with Visit Missouri. Budweiser and Harley-Davidson. The greatest legacies are built with grit and resilience, one detail at a time. This summer, we're coming together to celebrate 120 years of dedication to craftsmanship with limited edition Budweiser Harley-Davidson cans. Available anywhere Budweiser is sold. For those who give everything to their craft, this Bud's for you. Don't drink and ride. Enjoy responsibly. 2023 Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Lager Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks is always adding exciting cocktails to the menu, like the expertly balanced Sincoro Hall of Fame Margarita. Try it at your local lodge today.
Tailgates and turkey? Yes, please. This season, score a touchdown with U.S. soy-fed turkey. Versatile, tasty, and truly different, turkey is always a winner. You can get all the recipes and register for a chance to win the ultimate prize pack at tailgatewithturkey.com. You'll be the pride of the parking lot.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands to treat ED at up to 95% off. That's right, the same active ingredient as the brand name for 95% less. It's the same ED medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expense.
Okay, I have the live stream pulled up. It just says upcoming, so
you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio.
Okay.
That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days.
Okay, so you want me to come back in from the commercial break, play some music, and then just I'll let you know if the press conference starts so you can throw it over to it?
For the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move.
right, that sounds good. You've got like.
It was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing. But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare up.
Okay, this commercial break's got like 3 minutes left, so.
Get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Gas, groceries, utilities, you name it, the price of everything is going up. And if you're stuck in a bad timeshare with the rising maintenance fees, the financial burden can be crushing. It is time to get your finances in order and get the real facts about that timeshare that you are stuck in and your options to get rid of it. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has been helping families out of horrible timeshares for over 10 years and has put together a complete timeshare exit information kit that he will send you absolutely free. To date, over 30,000 families have trusted Wesley Financial Group to help them out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares. Get the facts
No, not yet.
how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation. Simply call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit and see how you can become timeshare free. Call 800-462.
He's walking to the thing right now.
That's 800-462-3333. Once again, 800-462-3333.
Old Johnny Pizza has expanded to
Okay, I have the live stream paused with Andy Reid walking to the podium.
.com to order, and you can use any third-party delivery system. Located at the Crossroads Food Stop at 16th and Campbell. Go to ospexp.com to order your.
Okay, I'll play the music, and then you can just throw it over.
Full-time job. Whether it's putting on outlet covers, installing child gates, or gluing down your priceless vase. So Duracell made one part of childproofing simple. Our lithium coin batteries are the only ones coated in a non-toxic bitterant to help discourage swallowing. Your kid is safer, and you've got one less thing to worry about. Or glue down. Duracell, engineered for more. Available in 2032, 2025, and 2016 sizes.
To start the season, spray away stress.
45 seconds.
Get rid of grime. Clear the nerves. Do away with dirt and doubt. And lose the germs. For less worry and more wins. When you get to a clean slate, the possibilities are endless. Clorox. Start clean. Always use products as directed.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios. Donate on 610sports.com to the Let's Play Sports Equipment Drive presented by Pinnacle Bank, benefiting the Urban Youth Academy. Thank you for all your support. 610 Sports Radio, KCSB Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app.
Never made it as a wise man. I couldn't cut it as a poor man stealing.
All right, we're back here in St. Joe. Chiefs training camp practice, first full day of pads wrapped up a couple minutes ago. Expected to have Sky Moore join us here in a couple of minutes, but before we hear from Sky Moore, let's head out to the tent where Andy Reid is speaking live. It's presented by Technology Group Solutions, the official IT technology partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
As far as injuries go, Isaiah Moore we know about, Kadarius you know about, Wharton you know about. The ones today, Tranquil strained his neck, Fortson hurt his shoulder. We're going to check it out here. And then Dana strained his calf. So, but all in all, it was good work today. Guys challenged themselves. A little shorter practice, hour and 40-minute practice, and the guys worked. It was good to get them back in pads and working to challenge each other. So for that, time's yours.
Andy, first day of pads, can you feel that energy go up?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, yeah, naturally it does that. So, but I like the way they did it, how they got after each other, yeah.
You like it when you got to ramp it up. It's a physical game, but saw a couple of the, after the play, little conversations. Travis was involved in one. How do you manage being amped up but not going?
Yeah, fighting is a waste of time. You get thrown out of games doing it, get hurt out here doing it. So, but they're going to jaw. It's hot, humid. They're going to jaw a little bit, just as long as there's no punches thrown. We're all right. They're going to talk a little bit, but that happens.
Thoughts on your 2 new tackles, how they looked at pads?
Yeah, they did pretty good. You know, it's a challenge mentally and physically for them, being new and then going through the practice like this. So not always used to that, but I thought they hung in there pretty good, yeah.
Coach Isaiah got a little work in the past. How long before he's actually a full go?
We'll just see. We're kind of taking that day by day. We'll just see how it goes. No setbacks. That's what we're looking for. But he feels pretty good. You know, we'll just see how it rolls. Take it slow. You know.
Any guys stand out to you on the first day? No,
I mean, you know, they all did, I thought they all did a pretty good job. You know, I can't pick one out. They might not show up tomorrow. If I pick just one, I might only be coaching one guy.
In your early looks at Justin Ross, how have you seen him adjust to this camp, and how is he actually able to get some practice?
Yeah, no, he's getting better every day. I mean, this will be good for him with the pads on, and he's such a big kid, tall kid. You know, ability to go up and get the ball, that type of stuff will benefit him.
Any early impressions on Matt Bushman and Deneric Prince, too? Just early impressions.
Yeah, both doing good. Bush is playing tight end and working hard. He's competing. Good route runner, real good route runner. Knows what he's doing there. He's going to continue to work on the run game part of it, but that's what he's doing. So, and then Prince, you know, it's just a matter of staying on top of everything. So it's new to him. Protections are always for the rookie running backs is a thing you have to learn. So, but he's such a hard worker. Great hands. Looked like he had good vision in the 9-on-7 in the run game. Yeah.
John Ross tell you before he left?
Yeah, he didn't say much. He just was tired of it, you know. And you know, I'm sure there was some frustration there, but he'll be fine. He's a sharp kid. You know, he's one of the guys. He'll make it somewhere.
Earlier in the week, Trey was ready for pads because he likes to hit people. What have you seen from him?
Which one?
Trey.
Yeah. Which Trey were we doing? Trey Smith. Yeah. No, he's always, you know, ready to hit somebody. He's a tough kid, and I thought he did a good job. He had a couple where his hands got out, but he's got to just keep those in tight. And you know, it's good to have the officials out here helping us with all that. So they hear it from the officials. That's even different than hearing it from a coach. So, but he does a good job, hard worker.
Coach, you've had Willie here for a while. Just how have you seen him progress over the years?
Yeah, I like the way he stepped up the last couple of years here. He's got the defense down, and phenomenal athlete. You know, he's a great athlete. Loves to play, brings great energy.
Coach, for Rashee Rice, you got a chance to see him in pads, and I know first year sometimes it can be tough. You got a lot you give him. You know, how's he getting the offense, and how did he look trying to apply it to pads?
Yeah, sure. Sharp kid, tremendous talent. This is all new to him. You know, when you're a rookie receiver, you come in here, you're running miles, and so you got to get used to that and the pace. There's no play off. There's no backside. I mean, you got to go 100 miles an hour. So he's learning that, but he's willing, you know, and he works hard, and quarterbacks like him. So he's doing a good job.
Flip side, it's just a follow-up, sorry. Sky Moore having that year, how much further down the road, how much quicker is he now?
He's doing a nice job. Sky's tough. He's good after the catch, and got good hands, good route runner. Has worked a lot with Pat in the offseason, so, yeah, he's solid. Yep.
It's a bit of an obligatory question, but have you heard from Chris in the last few days since we last talked to you?
I haven't, no.
Any expectation on when he might come in?
Don't know. We're moving fast and furious, even though he's not here.
Coach, you talked about Brian Cook stepping up and being the voice just during this offseason. How do you look in first day of pads?
Yeah, he's doing a nice job. Nice job. Both he and Reed, both their games have picked up. And we saw that later part of the season with both of them. And, you know, we saw it during the OTAs, and I'm sure that'll continue here. So they're he's doing a nice job, yeah.
Mine's kind of off the beaten path, but you're kind of one of the father figures of football, right? Like, not saying you're old, Coach. Just
basically
you have that, but you've also coached in college. And the situation at Northwestern with the hazing and everything, I know, like, rookies will be carrying guys' pads and everything.
Yeah.
What's kind of your, like, when does it go too far? How do you keep it from?
Yeah, well, we talk about it. I mean, I don't hide it from 'em. I mean, you know, we let the guys get in front of the line and carry helmets, but past that, there's no physical stuff, man. That is those days are gone. So you can't mess around with that.
Are you surprised to hear that? There are coaches that think that would actually somehow help.
Yeah,
them
I'm a
win?
big Fitz fan.
Reed's almost done.
Players come from there that have been tremendous. You know, Mike Kafka being one of them, and you know, the parts of his program that I knew, I mean, it was tremendous. So I had a lot of respect for him. So you know, whatever. I don't know the situation.
You can stick with this till
I don't know what's real, not real.
Good.
Okay. All right. Good.
Reed's walking away.
Good to see you. Good to see you, Sky. All right, so that was Andy Reid speaking to the media there in the Media 10. It's brought to you by Technology Group Solutions, the official IT technology partner of the Kansas City Chiefs, and we're always excited to have a member of the Chiefs join us after practice exclusively here on 610 Sports Radio. And today we got a guy we talked to up here a year ago when he was just a rookie as well, and that was Sky Moore. And we got Sky Moore joining us after first padded day of practice, man. We appreciate you coming to the tent. Just a little hot out today.
Couldn't choose a hotter one.
Man, it's super hot. For sure. Thanks for having me though. How you guys doing?
We're good, man. We're fine. I mean, we think it's a little hot. We're not in pads. We're not sweating. How was today? Andy just mentioned that he kind of cut practice a little short today, but you guys were going full steam ahead.
Yeah, for sure. You guys think it's hot. I know it's hot for sure. but yeah, first day of pads. You know, you kind of get that it's like real football season now. You know, so you got to get that back in football shape. You feel me? Get the real weight of the real thing. So we're going full steam.
How do you feel this time compared to a year ago? You were just a rookie a year ago. You were talking about just trying to get everything down. Where are you at now compared to a season ago?
Well, today I feel like the pads challenged me a little bit. You know, it was hot outside. That's more mentally, but like physically and mentally, I'd say I'm way ahead of the game compared to last year. Just being, you know, just having that 1 year under my belt already.
Was it kind of overwhelming then by that standard? Like once you got in here and you're here for a few weeks, like, oh, this is gonna be a little different. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming that you register that or it figures out pretty quick once you kind of get into that conversation.
You know, I knew it was going to be different from the moment I stepped on the field. It was like moving, like from Western Michigan, this is way different. So, you know, the bullets are flying way faster and you know, everything's moving, you know, way faster than college.
And I would say, you know,